Euroverse.
We've talked a lot on this show about what makes a Eurovision act successful, but we haven't talked about one of the most time-honored ways to put a Eurovision act over the top, a moment of vocal fireworks.
It's a way that you can give a performer a moment to just show off, and hopefully through that, you make your numbers stand out. But the problem with showcasing a performer that way, obviously, is that if either the performer, the songwriter, or the director is not doing their job properly, you could end up with a disaster and the dreaded null pois.
So to help us sort through what makes a vocal showcase moment work, we got one of Broadway's best voices, Telly Leung. You may have seen Telly as a warbler on Glee, or you may have seen him starring in Godspell, Aladdin, or Allegiance on Broadway.
Telly is not only a performer at the highest level, he's also a professor of vocal performance. So he is the perfect guest for a game we're calling Killer Notes or Killer Nodes.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So happy that you're here. And what we're going to do is we're going to play you a moment from a Eurovision song up until the time the singer attempts a gorgeous high note or a melisma or something that I don't even know if there are words for. Then, knowing what you do about voice, song, and performance, we'd like you to tell us if we're about to see a mind-blowing moment of vocal fireworks or a disaster. Then we'll watch the moment and see if the singer soars or falls very flat.
Okay, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think this is going to be cool, not just because it'll be a hopefully fun game.
Yes.
But I think we can talk a bit about, from the songwriter side, from the performer side, if an act is going to lean into a moment like this, what kind of preparation needs to happen, what kind of song, and what can a director do to not make a singer's life hell?
Totally. And also kind of risk versus payoff, right? You have this one moment in the sun and you get that one shot and it has to work then. Before we get into the game, we always like to start out with the question, what do you currently, prior to this game, know about Eurovision?
I actually knew very little about Eurovision until 2019. I happened to be doing a concert and doing a little bit of teaching in Edinburgh. And my friend who I was staying with was like, oh, well, tonight's the Eurovision finals. We have to go. And I walked into a house of homosexuals, like ready.
Sounds very familiar.
Ready. They were ready for this finale. They had little flags. People were like, people were shushing me right before their favorite country was about to perform. I was like, what is this world of entertainment that I have no clue about, that people on the other side of the world are like, this is their Super Bowl. This is their Tony Award. This is their Grammys.
Telly, you're just going to have to pitch our podcast from now on. Like that.
I mean, that is the best pitch for why people should watch Eurovision.
I also wonder if this random friend in Edinburgh was just like Magnus in a mustache and glasses.
Hello, it's Scottish Magnus.
I'm going to publicly thank my friend Murray for exposing me to the absolute madness. The funny part was my friend Murray, like, it's not madness to him. He's grown up with it. So he's like, all right, here's another Eurovision party that we're going to go to. But I was like, what's happening? Like, pour me another drink.
This was exactly my experience. And also the fact that his name is Murray, like, also lends itself to my theory that it was like, yes, my name is Murray. It is this thing where you're like in this room full of people and everybody's like, oh yeah, what's going on screen is totally normal.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, seriously?
And also the spectacle of it. It's bigger than the Grammys. It's like the Olympics.
Do you have moments or numbers that you remember at all?
No, you know what? I left the Eurovision party and then I realized, well, certainly I've heard Eurovision songs. As a flaming homosexual myself, I was like, right, like Netta, Conchita, and ABBA. I was like, got it. Okay, there's a long, rich history here that me, as the American, just wasn't exposed to. I was banging my head against my hands. Like, why? Why is this something I never knew about before? I have seen the Eurovision movie, which I think is actually brilliant.
I think it's kind of amazing.
I loved it.
And how much like accuracy is in there and actual acts from Eurovision? We spoke to the director and he said it was actually not intended for an American audience at all. It was a Netflix project purely for Europe.
Oh, wow.
And it became the #1 movie in the US. It's kind of insane.
And I do think,
again, why there needs to be a podcast.
Yeah. When you sort of look at Eurovision in America, like basically from like 1976 to 2019, there was only one Eurovision song that made it to the Billboard Hot 100 in America. Eurovision movie comes out 2020, and then 3 songs chart the next 3 years. Oh, the other big thing is the Eurovision winner in 2019 was the first one to chart, but it didn't chart until 2021, which was, again, after the movie. In all contexts, thank you, Will Ferrell, for all that you do.
He's married to a Swedish woman, and
Yes.
I think the first time he was over there, the family gathered for like watching Eurovision, and he's like, "What is this?" And I think it's a similar thing. Shh, honey, don't talk.
Yeah.
The idea that you can have a 4-hour broadcast with 0 commercial breaks is kind of insane.
Yes.
Where people will shush you for 4 hours. But
It's a great experience. Everyone should try it.
Anyway,
It's balanced.
all that being said, are you ready for the game?
I am so ready for this game.
Amazing. First, we've got Dancing in the Rain, which was Spain's 2014 entry, performed by Ruth Lorenzo.
That's all I get?
That's all I'm going to give you for this one.
That's all I get. And I have to decide whether or not she's going to give me a killer note or a killer node after this.
Yes.
I'm a little scared. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous because I hear her nervous.
Yeah, I was going to say she sounds a little scared.
Singing the easy part of the song. I'm nervous for you, Ruth.
I also just want to say that I love the emotionality you're bringing to this too. Not only do we get a comprehensive sort of evaluation of the performance, we get like a window into her soul.
I think that's the theater teacher in me. I root for every student. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think so. Like if this was my student, I'd be like, oh God, breathe, take a deep breath. Uh-oh.
Favorite part? Rose likes dance.
First of all, the projections on the stage, brilliant.
Right.
And the aerial shot, work. Yes. Yes. You think it's over, but she's like,
she's got more.
bilingual. Give it to me in 2 languages. Okay, so she's a trick bag. She knew exactly. She was like,
Yes.
I'm going to go.
She's
I'm
like,
gonna sing it, and the word day is gonna be like a little bit not like correct. And she's gonna make you
then-
worry. And then she goes, I got this. I
Yeah.
got this. Ha ha.
And she's like, why do I even need this?
Right.
mic stand?
She was like, you thought I was gonna miss that note, but I had it all along. I'm gonna assign this song to my students. Like that song. If you need 16 bars, sing that.
Well, and I will say the other reason I kind of gravitated towards this as an example is like, from a songwriting perspective, there really was just like, let's create space. If it's just repeat the rain for fucking a whole minute.
And like old Norwegian folk music, they take away the words essentially. It just spells about feeling, you know? It's not about changing the word anymore. It's just about what the rain means, Charlie.
So next, we have Israel's 2010 entry, which is sung by Harel Scott, and the song is called Milim.
Well, he's very handsome. Is Harel single? Is what I would like to say.
He was at the time. I think he's in a relationship now.
Oh, really?
Basing that on following him on Instagram.
Yes, Queen.
He's very confident.
I mean, if you look like that.
Yeah. I think it comes.
So I am hopeful and optimistic that he's going to give me a killer note.
All right, Harel.
Okay.
Let's see what you got.
Eval's the worst. Oh, yeah. Felt it, though.
That's the thing. It's the thought that counts.
He made up for it. Yeah, he makes up for it at the end. It was definitely not what you want millions of people to see. And
Yeah.
for us now 3 to like sit here and talk about.
Yeah, isn't it great that I dug that up? Is this game cyberbullying? Is that what we're doing?
But I will say he was like, the end of that song is pretty great.
One of the interesting things about it is if we had more time and you watch the whole number, vocally, he's like amazing.
He's great.
Yeah. I am a fan of a live key. A key that you have in the recording studio that sounds crazy that you can go cut. Let's do that again. Like,
Yeah.
why not do a live key? Nobody is sitting at home with a pitch pipe going,
You will hear some composers be like, oh my God. And like this key, it just like makes everything sound like that. And you're like, no. How does it sit on the singer's voice?
that's right.
It's so straightforward that people keep trying to come up with like more complicated things. Then what's the lowest note that they sound natural singing? What's the highest note that sounds like there's a little bit of work in it, but they can hit it every time?
But also, you and I are from the world of 8 shows a week.
The way Eurovision works is it's like They have a semifinal they have to perform in that week. They then are also like doing interviews. And then they also perform both the semifinal and the final 3 times.
With an audience. They basically practice the filming of the show. So they sell out the arena for all shows the night before the jury would vote. So that means the night before is very important. And then day of, you would have the family show, which is like the dress rehearsal essentially. And then that night, the broadcast. So in 2 days, he does that 3 times. But in the week, he does it 6 times. And then in addition to that, his interview schedule is probably 8 hours a day. It's like opening week on Broadway, you're doing 8 shows, but also Good Morning America.
Right.
Okay, next is Romania's 2010 entry, Pola Selling and Ovi Playing with Fire.
Playing with fire. Uh-oh. Already sounds risky and dangerous.
I know.
I like the see-through piano.
I know, right?
Well, she's a bop, but like, is there a high note coming? I guess there is, huh?
There is. And honestly, I have to say, I did not expect it.
Okay,
That's
well,
the beauty of Eurovision.
I mean, so maybe
sometimes.
I'm going to also be optimistic here, and I'm going to say I think it's going to be a killer note.
This is just like such a great advertisement for NYU's vocal performance program because like how you are nurturing all of these Eurovision singers is just like the most incredible.
Does some of that fire leap down stage?
Yep.
Oh. All right, Sarah Brightman. Andrew Lloyd Webber wants that check. Listen,
Seriously,
that's
Phantom of the
brilliant.
Opera is there inside Eurovision.
Yeah. I love that. She's like, I'm a voice major.
Yeah.
I did my arias at school.
I'm fucking classy, all right?
Right.
She said, you give me 3 minutes, hold my purse.
I'm a real musician.
Yeah.
I did not expect a head voice moment.
In the songwriting, everybody knows what the money thing to do is, like the most straightforward, like place it really powerfully, put it in the like meat of someone's voice. It's always so exciting when someone makes a choice like that.
It's that sort of bop musically where you're sort of like, this is like a repeat and fade moment.
100%.
And I'm sure that they were like, we can't like repeat and fade.
Yeah,
Eurovision.
this is a live
Like,
song.
You need a button.
And she's like, oh, I got it.
She's like, I got it. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like
Everyone
it.
take 5.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
So we have got Manuel Navarro's Do It For Your Lover, which is Spain's 2017 entry.
Spain is back.
Do it for your lover.
Do it for your
Do it
lover.
for me, Manuel. So many things I'm confused by. I think this is going to be a killer node. I can already hear the whole thing's in his throat. So I'm just a little nervous.
Yeah.
Manuel, you're very pretty on the eyes.
Very, very pretty.
And a little terrified because I feel like we're about to go for like a Rastafari and Bob Marley high note. And I don't know if it's going to to go well. But then again, you know what? The Spanish have tricked me before.
I know. Well, that's
In the game as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's a killer.
Amazing.
I think it's a killer note.
Killer node. All right.
Nope. He didn't breathe.
I know.
No, you got to drop your jaw and breathe.
I know.
Manuel. See, you don't have to. They need a vocal coach.
Yes, I was going to say.
He literally went like this. He's like, the camera's on me. I'm not gonna breathe or make any space for the notes, and then I'm just gonna cry. Like that's literally what happened. He went, oh crap, there's a camera. There's a camera coming at me. I can't breathe. I have to just look pretty. Oh God, I have to sing a high note. That's
I think 100% what happened. And that is like my favorite thing about this clip is like the story he tells on his face before that note comes.
It doesn't help that the music drops.
Yes.
So that doesn't help either. That it's also very exposed. But it also feels like that sort of song is like a feel good. I want to like sip a pina colada.
Well, that's
on the beaches of Barcelona, just like chill into a groove. At no point is that song ever asking for a high note either.
Yes, this might be the flip side of what we were talking about with Romania's number. Because you're like lined up against like 30 other songs, you need to stand out somehow. And so like a quiet, vibey song is not going to stand out. So it's like sometimes you have something really creative like what Romania did. As you said, a pretty vibey song.
Yeah.
You found a melismatic, operatic thing. But then you take some surf rock and you like throw a like money note in the middle of it, and like with the singer who clearly like that's not his vibe.
Poor Manuel.
I know.
If he dropped his jaw and he took a good breath, he would have had it.
God, the number of times I've been told that.
Anyway,
so Magnus, would you like to introduce the next?
Okay, so next up we have Albania's 2012 entry, Rona Nishlius Sus.
Drama.
She brings drama.
Shirley Bassey, give it to me. Because she's giving me a Shirley Bassey vibe, I think she's going to give me killer notes.
Okay.
Oh, God, dramatic.
Such drama.
But why straight tone, though? But why straight? No. Spin, girl, spin. Oh, my God. That note's not in the chord. That note's not in the chord. She's acting down.
She's been through something, and she got it out on that stage.
Hurt people.
I don't.
Oh my God.
I don't. A little vibrato and a little spin just saves you on pitch centers. Also, why is he blindfolded? I don't understand. Like, if you're straight tone, you better be the cleanest, most like almost auto-tuned acapella singer.
Yes.
A little bit of spin just gives you a little bit of room, especially those long, like.
I was going to say, like, these
notes.
piercing head voice notes without any vibrato on that.
It was just, and without any warmth, it all just felt a little under.
Yes. And so that was 100% my feeling. Now, this was a very celebrated Eurovision song. She brought the drama, and sometimes the commitment can overcome the vocal performance.
I mean, but we've seen that on Broadway. I won't name names. You've definitely seen a few of those performances where you go, as she just sung the whole show about a half pitch under. But then again, you forgive it because they're
if the name is
because you're in it. You're in it with her. There's a part of me when that happens, I have to like divorce my musical ear and just be in it.
Speaking of vibrato and how that may or may not be able to help.
Yep.
Next, we have Il Volo with Grande Amore. This is Italy's 2015 entry.
All right.
Dimmi perché quando penso solo a te. Dimmi perché quando vedo solo te. Dimmi perché quando credo solo in te. Grande amore.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
do not cut it.
Can you guess whether that those notes that they were singing?
Well, I was waiting for the thing, but they sound fab.
Yes. Even if I had cut it, this one is a little bit of a tough one to make tricky.
But what's interesting, in the beginning, they were like, giving me a smoky vocal.
Yeah.
And they were very like...
That was the one
they
thing
were
I thought.
very
Like
this.
start at the beginning.
And like, maybe I smoked like a lot of cigarettes. And then they were like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All of a sudden, you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I love when they came back when Italy hosted to perform.
Yeah.
But one of them got COVID. So one of them was like just a gigantic being on the screen.
On just a big Zoom screen.
Okay, so finally, we got Krasimir Avramov's Illusion, Bulgaria's 2009 entry.
My God, no Gayaleta. Look at him. Nicely Bulgarsky.
Okay, 2009. The costumes, first of all.
I know.
Before you even press play, the costumes.
I know. It's moments like this where I'm really sad that Spirit Halloween closed. I mean, because...
Yes, Beyonce fans. I'm very nervous. With any time a guy starts singing like this,
Yeah.
a little Mickey Mouse voice, I get just a little nervous. The music has changed, and all we get is a cape and a fan. I'm nervous. I think it's a killer notes moment.
I think I will say I think it is very tough when you have to come in with a moment like this out of nothing.
I'm scared. Key change? Whoa. Well, she's fab. They should have just let her sing the whole thing.
I
Just let her sing the whole
know.
thing. He's hot and all.
Right.
In his Party City costume.
And couldn't return the costume. He had to use
Just let her sing it.
I know.
She was fierce. She was giving me these wonderful Middle Eastern scales. And
I
like,
love that she
sounds.
emerges out of nowhere,
Yeah,
right?
Bulgaria, like, that's your lead singer.
Simon Cowell would have been like, I'm splitting up this group.
Yes. That would have been the smart thing.
Oh, and then he would have been in One Direction?
Because he's very pretty on the eyes.
That's true, yeah.
But somebody told him he could sing in his head voice.
And it was Mickey Mouse.
It was not. I'm just like a guy like that is the other side of his voice, like hello. Because
Yeah.
oftentimes guys that have strong falsettos, which that is questionable.
Yeah.
But like, but usually they're basses and baritones.
Right,
Because,
right.
like, tenors tend to, like-
their actual voice doesn't go. Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah,
So their chords are like thick enough to make sort of that heavier falsetto sound.
yeah.
I have very little falsetto because
Right.
I'll like
Because she doesn't need it.
That's right.
Well, but it's also tricky. Like I remember, like when I was understudying Angel, I could never do any of that stuff that was like above a high F.
Right,
Because I-
right. You were just like, give me a note I can scream my face
People would
off
be
on.
like, "That sounds so full," and I was like, "Yeah, it's because I can't do the other thing. My voice doesn't want to do that." You know, like he probably has a great like baritone, rich
Yes.
voice.
And this is a lesson in making sure the audition process is done correctly.
Oh,
Because he came in with that song and they were like, he's got a great voice.
The game was so fun. I don't know what my score was, but I
think you did really
I
well.
think I scored a
Oh,
good time.
Yeah.
That was really fun, boys.
Yes, and with that.
I really want to like watch Eurovision with you now.
Oh my God!
gosh.
Yes, absolutely.
Come to
so here's the
Sweden.
thing: we're going to Sweden this year.
Stop.
Wanna come with? Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I'll hop on over.
Yeah,
I think it's
100%.
really amazing. And just as a reason to gather people.
I know.
Like that's what's really great about it. All these Eurovision parties happening everywhere where people just sit around their television and they for 4 hours
yeah,
and drink and eat bad food and like
which is like 100% my favorite kind of
Yeah.
party. So
Yeah,
I think
I always refer to Eurovision as the original RuPaul's Drag Race.
yeah, uh-huh.
Because a lot of the things we know from Drag Race, whether it's the campness of it all, the over-the-topness, the costumes, the sparkle, the wind machines.
the controversies with fascist dictators. I don't know. I haven't seen Drag Race in a while, but I think that's sort of what's.
Anyway.
All right, and with that, Telly, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
joining us.
All the mysteries of the Euroverse.